Hello neighbors, Steve here with etrailer.com. Thanks for joining me while we take a quick comparison look over 3 different hubs today. They're going to be pre-greased, rated for 3,500 pound axles, and all 3 of these have the same 5-on 4.5 inch lug pattern. So getting into it, we've got our C.E. Smith over here, and then we've got our etrailer, and then we've got our Dexter. And basically what you see before them is what's going to come with each individual part number. I'll put those part numbers on the screen for you as well, in case you want to order one of them. And starting off over here on my right, the C.E. Smith's going to come with this nice hard plastic carrying case. And of the 3, I just think that's a very big quality of an addition. Price-wise, value-wise, these 2 are about the same, give or take a couple bucks. And the Dexter one is a little more than twice the price of either of these 2. So just starting off with that. Now back to the case. I do love the case by C.E. Smith, simply because if you're like me and you want to plan ahead for worst case scenarios, if I have one of these already in my truck, I could throw it in the toolbox, maybe under a seat, behind a seat in the back, and it's in a nice, protected, safe space in case I, God forbid, have a breakdown on the highway or the road or something. Now I'm not scrambling trying to find a trailer store or a parts store with my exact hub, my exact bearings, and my exact lug pattern. Now I've already got one ready to go. Now, that being said, I could simply buy one of these as well and throw it in a bag of some sort and then put it in the toolbox or whatnot, and it will work just as fine as well. Now all 3 of these again are rated at 3,500 pound capacity. They all have what's considered a 5-on 4.5 inch lug pattern. Now to get the lug pattern for any kind of hub or wheel out there, however you want to measure it, with the wheel on an odd pattern, you have to measure center of one stud directly to the center between 2 adjacent studs. So I want to throw that picture up there just so you get a visual. That red line is what you're measuring. So center of one stud directly across between the 2 centers of other ones. Now that's going to measure, in this case, 4.5 inches. Now if you had the hub off, or the wheel off rather, you can measure that. It's probably a little more difficult because it's not flat and everything like it would be with the wheel on there. Now they all again come pre-greased. They all use the same inner bearings, inner races, outer races, and they all 3 have grease seals included. Now those grease seals are the exact same size, however they are different part numbers. I'm not going to go into the part numbers of those because they really don't make that much of a difference in my opinion. All 3 of them use a 1/2 inch stud. Starting over here, the C.E. Smith's is 1 7/8 inches long on their stud. The etrailer brand has a 1 5/16 length stud, and Dexter's has 1 1/4 inch long. I personally thought that was kind of fascinating that they all have different length studs. However, if you measure from the hub surface, the flat face, all the way out to the top here on all 3 of them, it's exactly 1 3/4 inches. So the hub face is not changing whatsoever as far as the depth or anything like that. It's literally giving you minimum extra lengths on those studs, which again, to me, I don't think that's going to cause any problems whatsoever. The C.E. Smith comes with a regular grease cap and cotter pin. No nut, no lock washers, none of that. The etrailer one comes with the regular cap and an easy lube cap if you want to remove the plug if you have an easy lube spindle. So a little more value on that one, but yet it doesn't have the case. And then the Dexter one over here, you've got both caps. You got the lock nuts, capsule nut if you need it, the D washer, the regular washer, the cotter pin. You even got the retainer clip here for the certain studs that require that as well. And this is just the rubber plug that goes in that cap. So Dexter costs the most, but obviously you get the most out of it. As far as if you have this, it would work with pretty much any axle that's rated at 3,500 pounds out there. You'd have everything you need. Now looking at the Dexter, while I'm still over here, you can notice obviously the design is different than the other 2. This makes no difference as far as quality, durability. It's just the design that Dexter's used for many, many years. They also do make some that are round as well in different axle capacity sizes. Now one thing to note, they come pre-greased. I went ahead and left some of these caps in here at the start of the video just so we can kind of keep everything clean. Now this one over here, the C.E. Smith, did not have these protective caps, but again, it's in a case, so I'm okay with that. I checked to see if they actually pre-greased the bearings. Out of all of them, the C.E. Smith one looks like it really didn't get pre-greased on the front one, but on the back one, it looks like it was pre-greased all the way through, meaning when you're greasing bearings, you want the grease to get in between individual bearings inside of those rollers. So again, there's some in there, it just wasn't as visual evident as the rest of these over here where you can see it pushing out. And that's the same thing on the back sides of them as well. They all look pretty good. So again, not much to complain about there. Again, great quality product on each one. The C.E. Smith, again, came with the case. So out of the three, that would be my personal favorite just because I like stuff neat and clean and organized. So that's just my 2 cents on that. The Dexter one, again, 2 times the cost, but yet you get the extra parts. You'd have to kind of decide if that's the route you want to go. Dexter's a great brand, and they've been around for many years, great products. So in my opinion, and that's just what this is today on a comparison, I think you can't go wrong with any of these, honestly. If you need that specific inner and outer bearing, that specific race and the seals and everything to match up with what you have and the lug pattern, then this would be a great option, either one of these. Well, folks, I'm Steven. Again, that's my 2 cents on the comparison. Have fun out there, and as always, stay safe while you're towing.